Why does something so dark feel so comforting? It's a question that might feel strange to even ask, yet millions of us experience it every night. You finish a long day, you settle onto your couch, and you press play on a story about the absolute worst things human beings can do to each other. And instead of feeling terrified, you feel a strange sense of calm. If you've ever felt this paradoxical peace while watching a disturbing documentary, you are absolutely not alone. It's a strange human quirk. We consume stories of the worst of humanity to feel safer in our own lives. In fact, what if I told you that this response isn't just normal, but that your brain might be doing something brilliant? There are a few powerful psychological reasons why your true crime habit is actually a tool your mind uses to manage anxiety. And understanding them will change the way you see your watch list forever. In this video, we're not just going to ask the question, we're going to answer it. If you've ever felt a little weird for finding this stuff calming, you can relax, because that feeling is a sign your brain is working exactly as it should. We're going to break down the 4 core psychological principles that explain why true crime can ease our anxiety and bring a sense of order to a chaotic world. These aren't just vague theories, they're concepts rooted in cognitive psychology and evolutionary biology that reveal so much about our inner workings. We're going to cover 4 psychological reasons, and the third one is a genuine survival instinct you're probably using without even realizing it. By the end, you won't just understand your own mind better. You'll also have a framework for engaging with this content in a healthier, more empowering way. You'll leave feeling validated, insightful, and equipped with a new level of self-awareness. So let's dive into the first big reason your brain loves true crime. The first reason is that true crime offers us catharsis without consequence, which I call the safe problem. Our brains are fundamentally wired to love puzzles and seek out patterns. We get a deep sense of satisfaction from taking a jumble of chaotic pieces and arranging them into a coherent picture. A crime, especially a complex one, is the ultimate high-stakes puzzle. It presents us with clues, red herrings, timelines, and motives that we are invited to piece together from a distance. You get to play detective, analyzing evidence and forming theories about the mystery as it unfolds. However, the crucial element here is the screen between you and the danger. It creates a safe, controlled container for what would otherwise be terrifying emotions. You get to experience the thrill of the investigation, the spike of fear from the crime, and the intellectual challenge of the mystery, all without any actual risk to your personal safety. This process allows for a kind of emotional release or catharsis, where you can process feelings of fear and injustice in a manageable way. It's very similar to why we enjoy riding roller coasters. You get the exhilarating sensation of danger while being securely strapped in your seat the entire time. Your body experiences the thrill, but your conscious mind knows you are safe. Cases like the Zodiac Killer, which remain a source of endless fascination for armchair detectives, perfectly illustrate this principle. We engage with the puzzle, trying to solve it from our living rooms, experiencing the mental stimulation without the real-world peril. But it's more than just a puzzle, because the real comfort often comes from how these stories end, which leads us directly to our second point. The second reason we find comfort in these dark tales is our deep-seated psychological need for moral clarity and justice. The real world is often messy, frustrating, and morally gray. We see unfairness go unpunished, and chaos seem to reign without consequence. This can create a constant low-level hum of anxiety that the world is fundamentally unjust and out of control. True crime narratives, especially those that are solved, act as a powerful antidote to this feeling. They provide a refreshingly simple and structured story. Within the frame of the documentary or podcast, there is a clear distinction between right and wrong, a good guy and a bad guy. As the story unfolds, we follow the logical process of the investigation, which methodically works to right a terrible wrong. The final act, the capture and conviction of the perpetrator, is incredibly satisfying on a psychological level. It restores a sense of order to the universe, reinforcing our belief that, in the end, justice will prevail. Think about a case like the capture of the Golden State Killer after decades of terror. For viewers, seeing Joseph James DeAngelo finally brought to justice provided a profound sense of resolution. It confirmed the belief that no matter how long it takes, the scales of justice will eventually balance. This resolution can be incredibly calming, reaffirming our hope for a world that makes sense, where good triumphs over evil. It's a moral certainty that we often lack in our daily lives. And if you're the kind of person who is fascinated by that need for order and justice, you're in the right place here. It shows you're curious about the why behind our behavior, which is what this channel is all about. So take a second to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the psychology of our everyday lives. Now for our third reason, the one I teased earlier. This is perhaps the most fascinating and practical reason of all. You are subconsciously rehearsing survival skills. From an evolutionary standpoint, our brains are hardwired to pay hypervigilant attention to threats. For our ancestors, knowing what dangers lurked in the shadows and how to avoid them was the single most important skill for staying alive. That ancient programming is still running in your brain today. When you watch a true crime story, you aren't just being entertained, you are mentally stockpiling crucial information. Your brain is automatically running analyses in the background. You learn to recognize behavioral red flags. You see what situational awareness looks like, or what a lack of it can lead to. By watching how victims were targeted and how some managed to escape, you are effectively running mental simulations. It's like getting a vaccine for fear, a small, controlled dose of a threat that helps your mind build immunity and prepare for the real world. This is why it can feel so productive to watch this content. On a primal level, it is productive. You're learning what to do, and perhaps more importantly, what not to do. Think about it. Have you ever watched a show and thought about what you would do differently in that situation? That's your brain running a simulation. Let me know an example in the comments below. It's a sign your brain is working to keep you safe. Our final reason isn't psychological, but biochemical. It's a powerful feedback loop I call the adrenaline relief cocktail. As you watch a tense scene, your body doesn't fully distinguish between real and perceived threats on a physiological level. Your heart rate might increase, your palms might get a little sweaty. Your body is experiencing a low-grade fight or flight response, releasing small amounts of stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. This is the source of the suspense and excitement that keeps you glued to the screen. Your body is actively involved in the narrative. Imagine you're watching a gripping interrogation. The tension builds as the detective closes in, and your body is right there with them, primed for a confrontation. But then comes the key moment. The suspect confesses, the missing person is found, or the episode simply ends. Because you are perfectly safe on your couch, this resolution of tension is followed by a wave of physiological relief. Your brain releases calming neurotransmitters, and often a hit of dopamine, the pleasure chemical, as a reward for surviving the threat. This potent cycle of tension and release is highly compelling, and for some, even addictive. Your brain interprets that final state of dopamine-fueled relief as a deep sense of comfort and satisfaction. So the very thing that made you tense is also what provides the comforting release at the end. I'm curious, what's your go-to comfort true crime show? The one you can watch over and over? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what everyone's watching. So, what does all of this mean for you as you're scrolling for your next watch? It means the next time you feel that pull toward a dark documentary, you can reframe that feeling. Instead of feeling guilty or morbid, you can recognize it for what it is. You can see it as your brain's attempt to solve puzzles, seek justice, rehearse survival, and enjoy a well-earned biochemical release. Understanding this gives you power and allows you to be more mindful. So here are 3 quick tips for healthy consumption. First, be mindful of how it's affecting you. Ask yourself, is this show empowering me with knowledge, or is it just making me more anxious about the world? If it's the latter, it might be time to switch it up. Second, balance your media diet. Just like you can't live on junk food, you can't just consume stories about the worst of humanity. Follow up a dark series with a comedy or something that inspires you. And third, use it as a conversation starter. Talk with friends or family about the safety lessons or the questions of justice it brings up. Turn passive viewing into an active tool for awareness. So, when we put it all together, a clear picture emerges. The comfort we find in true crime isn't about a love for the macabre or a secret darkness within us. It's about our brain's innate drive for safety, our profound need for justice, our ancient instinct for survival, and the compelling chemistry of tension and release. So, it's not a morbid fascination. It's a search for order, a rehearsal for survival, and a deep-seated need for justice to be served. The reason true crime feels so comforting isn't a paradox at all. It is a powerful testament to how our brilliant minds are constantly working to find order, control, and safety in what can often feel like a chaotic world. Understanding this doesn't just make you a more mindful viewer of television. It makes you more aware of the invisible psychological forces that shape your own behavior every single day. And that is a powerful piece of knowledge to have. If this video gave you an aha moment and helped you understand your own mind a little better, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We post deep dives like this all the time, and we'd love to have you as part of our community of curious minds. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.